Kevin Bacon?
Exactly. We're here to teach you about the power of waking up to eggs.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the annual Food to Watch Films by Movie Awards, brought to you by Johnny, Pablo, and your host for the evening, the delicious, the delectable, the good-looking, men want to be him and women, they just want him, the sexual chocolate himself, the dog's bollocks.
Adam, shut up. Shut up. I'm introducing the fucking hell.
I thought it was, if you were going to say something that that was the agreement that we'd all be equal, that there wouldn't be any kind of,
what was that about?
I just want to sell the show, this is the first annual award show. People need to know, it's in good hands.
That was just some sort of megalomaniac. I don't even know what that was. None of that was true.
Verbal masturbation is what it was, and I don't think it's very pleasant.
It's a lot of people have said these things in the past.
No, I don't believe that.
This is how I describe myself on Facebook, Tinder, Grindr, all of them.
Well,
sorry. I would make some sort of reference about swiping in a certain direction, but I don't actually know, so I won't bother.
Yeah.
Well, sorry for that, listener. Sorry for you to endure that.
All right, but
yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Adam. You've just ruined the very first episode of 2017. Well done.
I dressed up for everything. It's a special night.
Fair play for that. I mean, you did go the extra mile.
I did, and it's a special occasion because we've been doing this shit for a year now.
Yeah, a whole year.
A whole year.
So if you've been listening ever since our first episode back on January the 10th last year, tragically the same day, David Bowie passed away, but anyway, that's a totally different issue.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, this is our anniversary episode. A whole year of Food to Watch Films by. If this is the first time you've listened to this podcast, basically we talk about films we've watched and recommend foods that we think would help to enhance your experience, so you can really, taste, lick, smell, get into that film on an intimate level.
Know about it.
Yeah, by recommending foods.
God.
Yeah, but what we're doing for this particular episode is we thought we'd take a bit of a look back at 2016 and put some awards together for we've got a few categories, haven't we?
Yeah, we picked we're keeping to 4 main categories. I don't want to get into best costume design and CGI and effects and things like that. We're keeping it close to best film, worst film. Little category there for the best indie flick. And also Pablo's here. We've got to talk about the food not to watch films by.
Exactly.
Bring me my blood and gore.
Exactly. So
exactly.
An element of that as well.
That was my id jumping out there. A bit of my id there. Ooh.
Okay, well, I suppose before we get on, Adam, I just want to point out that is a fetching suit you've got on there.
Thank you, mate. I've made the effort for the evening because it's a special occasion.
Yeah, Moss Bros.
No, well, it's you may have noticed it's a crushed velvet, which I'm trying to bring back in a big way.
Yeah.
Got it from a Oxfam charity shop. 50p for this bad boy. Yeah. 50p. I had to haggle a little bit, to be fair, because
she was such a fucking.
She was trying to get me at
you can't haggle in a charity shop.
Why not?
That's just.
She never saw me coming, Johnny. I bartered that woman down. 50p.
You were disgusting.
That octogenarian didn't see it coming. Tears, left in tears, didn't you?
Well, at least I splashed out anyway.
Yeah, you can clean that up, mate. Don't worry.
Well, no, I quite like this. It's from Next. Bit of I can't remember the name. It's Jean something. Jean-Pierre Cardon. Or something like that. Some French shit. Oh yeah, no. Hang on. Say it wasn't Next. It was. It was one of them. Yeah. One of them stores.
One of them shops.
Yeah. So, I feel pretty sharp.
You do, mate. You look traditional. You're looking very James Bondish. I have to say. Yeah.
And Pablo, I suppose, who are you wearing from the looks of things?
Well, I think it's about 75% a trucker called Terry and 25% this fella Dave from Derbyshire. I get a couple of fat fellas, and even though you think you'll be able to stitch it up and make it into a nice little suit, after the tanning process, you get a bit of shrinkage, and there's never enough to go around, even when you can for a big bloke. It's basically we've got
Delightful.
a bit of a waistcoat suit. I like to call it the long pig look.
Yeah, it's a good look.
It's fetching. It's fetching.
Yeah,
but yeah, for any new listeners, by the way, Pablo has a few. He acts on his impulses somewhat, and occasionally wears his victims.
If you've ever seen Silence of the Lambs and the character Buffalo Bill,
yep,
that's essentially what we're looking at the moment.
Yeah.
Looking good, Pablo.
Yeah.
He was sloppy. He was.
Bill got caught.
Yeah. Well, we're all looking very dashing. Anyway,
I'm feeling pretty.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Yeah.
So essentially, we're it's an award show, and we're not going to go into too many awards. It's not going to be like a 6-hour-long Oscars ceremony. We're not going to go into kind of best costume design and effects and things like that. And essentially, what we've done is that we've picked a film each for each category, so our nominations, and then we've put it out to social media. And thank you for everybody, all the listeners out there who have voted on this, and we'll be announcing the winner based upon those poll results on Google Plus and all those bits and pieces.
So yeah, let's move on to our first category, and that's for independent film.
Okay, so we're going to kick things off with the Independent Film Award, and we've called this one the Fusion Food Award.
Yep.
This is Food to Watch Films by, so obviously we want there to be some sort of food element, even if it's incredibly ham-fisted and sort of loosely put in there. So
shut up, Adam. Stop belittling.
No, but there's a reason for the title, because fusion food, it's innovative, it's edgy,
bringing different ideas
it's
together.
pushing boundaries.
It doesn't give a shit.
It does not give a shit, and that's what we want from our independent films. So we've each chosen an independent film which we enjoyed in 2016. Now I've gone for, as my nomination, gone for The Greasy Strangler. And if you've listened to our recent episode where we discuss independent films, I did put it in my top 5. It was number 1 for the best independent film, so obviously I've gone for it again today. Great film. I mean, it's just wholly bizarre, but in a fantastic way. The characters are interesting, the storyline is bizarre but interesting throughout. There's some great comic beats, there's some comical gore in there as well. Great film, and my number 1 independent movie of the year. Pablo?
Well, yes, obviously a year from the podcast where we've seen a lot of excellent independent films. Unfortunately, obviously, not all of them were made or released this year. So, as of the ones that we've selected, I've gone for a kind of a bit of a gore tip, as is my want. With Green Room, the Anton Yelchin's last film before his unfortunate, untimely demise this year. But yeah, just essentially some punks who were just kind of on the road doing a bit of a tour, a bit down on the money, decided to go and do a gig for some ne'er-do-wells, and it all kind of kicks off from there. But very good film.
Throat ripping.
Yes, and a bit of a nice gristle, gristle and gore abound.
Yes, and what's not to like about Patrick Stewart as a neo-Nazi?
Yeah.
So I guess that moves on to my nomination, which is for a brilliant film called I'm Not a Serial Killer, starring Christopher Lloyd and Max Records, about a guy whose next door neighbour suspects him of some foul play, shall we say, without going into any of the plot. But yeah, check it out. We reviewed it in episode 11, Food to Watch Films by. So yeah, that's my nomination.
Great stuff. But as we said earlier, the result of these nominations is based upon what you, the listener, has voted for via social media. So without further ado,
I'm pretty excited about this.
Let's
it's gotta be mine. It's gotta be mine.
Pass me the envelope, Johnny.
It's got to be mine.
Okay. And the winner is...
The winner.
It's Pablo's choice. It's Green Room.
Oh, excellent.
Do you want to do a little speech, Pablo, on behalf of Green Room
and Patrick Stewart?
Yes, well, nobody really put much thought in Patrick Stewart being the leader of a neo-Nazi gang, but some of us out there believed in him, and he went out there and he did the business, and he brought home the trophy tonight. So well done, Paddy.
Boy from Yorkshire as well. Boy from Murfield in
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
Yeah, so well done to all the other films that got nominated. But yes, Green Room. If you haven't tried it out, put it on.
Yeah, it's on Netflix at the moment as well, I think, isn't it? So certainly in the UK.
Yeah. I watched it for the first time the other night, and it's pretty.
It's great.
It's a bit uncomfortable.
Could have easily been in our gore category as well. But fantastic.
I suppose if you wanted to recommend a little food to go with this for anyone, what would you suggest? Maybe a bit of dog.
I think maybe a shredded pork or something along those lines, because there was a lot of hacking and shredding of flesh going on there, wasn't there? So
well, maybe with a side of pulled punk.
Hey,
yeah.
This is why you come onto the show, Pablo. It's for these puns.
I was trying to think of play on Mein Kampf as well, but
yes, leave that there.
I couldn't think of anything, so I'll put that to one side. So yeah, there we go. That was our best indie film of 2016, or a Fusion Food Award.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Okay, now listeners, so it is with my pleasure to be able to introduce the worst category, the worst films of 2016, which we have called the Soggy Biscuit Award. Very appropriate.
Appropriately titled.
Again, obviously, we the three of us, we suggested each of our, the worst films we'd seen that came out in 2016, posted to you, the listener. And so, first of all, I'll tell you what, Adam, do you want to give us your suggestion?
Yeah, well, I've gone for it's a film that I've actually seen fairly recently, but it's Gods of Egypt. Terrible movie. It took what could be quite an interesting concept and just made it into this bizarre movie, poorly acted for the most part, overly CGI. The Egyptians' god looked like CGI Power Rangers, and it's another example of Hollywood whitewashing. You've got a Scottish guy, Gerald Butler, playing an Egyptian god and keeping his broad Scottish accent.
Doesn't really work.
It doesn't really work, and the film didn't work as a whole. But yeah, so my choice is Gods of Egypt.
Yeah. No, thanks for that nomination, Adam. Yeah, that sounds bollocks.
It was.
Pablo, what is your terrible film, worst film?
Well, my pile of bobbins comes from an unlikely source. Duncan Jones, poor Mr. Bowie's son, brought us The Brilliant Moon and a couple of other. He's quite the auteur. But this year he brought us World of Warcraft, which was a pile of dog's bollocks.
Again, I've not seen it. It looks pants.
Yeah, just not good. I'm no fan of the game specifically, but even people I know who did not appreciate this film.
Oh well. Yeah, that's one for the dump bin then. And so, yeah, the final nomination, which, to be honest, I saw a few films from 2016. The worst one, I didn't really want to put this through, but it was Ghostbusters. It was out of all the films I've seen that are bad, it wasn't that bad. Yeah, but it probably was the worst film of 2016.
I think disappointing more than anything else, wasn't it? Rather than being truly shocking, it's just disappointing.
Yeah, well, yeah, it generally wasn't very good, was it?
And again, if you go back on the previous podcast, we reviewed Ghostbusters, and we didn't give it a scathing review. Yeah. But it's got a big legacy to follow, and didn't really live up to it.
Yeah, it was for me. It was the film that I kind of least enjoyed, shall we say?
Okay. But what did the listeners think?
So Adam, do you want to announce the result?
Okay. And the winner of the Soggy Biscuit is... overwhelmingly, the winner is Ghostbusters.
I was thinking, put a question like that to the internet. Ghostbusters.
Exactly, yeah.
Ghostbusters.
There were some... Yeah, people did not, on the internet, did not enjoy that film.
I mean, it did get absolutely bashed online.
There's some good things. I think it was a waste of a cast. and I think it was just it could have been so much more. So again, I think it was more disappointment of people, not living up to expectations.
But again, like we talked about in our review of it, you know, you're talking about a film that stars people like Bill Murray, and
I hated those cameos though.
And but no, I mean like the original films are just
of course,
so cult, so everyone's expectation, you just can't recreate that, or you know, there's no way of being able to produce something that's going to be living up to that. Just won't work.
Well, it's like trying to recreate an accident, a happy accident, in like very closely monitored, very highly financed laboratory conditions. It's never going to work. You're never going to recreate that.
It was too much of a recreation. Exactly. I think they'd have been better served to continue it in the fact of, this has already happened. We've had these Ghostbusters. Things have settled down now a couple of years in terms of paranormal activity, and then they pick up the mantle rather than it being, the Ghostbusters never existed. These are the actual Ghostbusters.
That's it. Which I think, by doing that, they missed the brilliant opportunity to have possibly having Bill Murray as the mayor of New York. Peter Venkman has gone on to
that'd be amazing. I'd love to see that. That'd have been ace.
Still could have had it as a kind of a secret reveal type of thing. The mayor's called us in. We're going to get chewed out. We're going to get shut down. Hey, you're all right by my book, guys.
That's true. Yeah, that could have worked. That could have worked.
Bit of I was going to say slash fiction, but I think that's the rude one, isn't it? I'll do a bit of internet-based fiction about that. I'll get.
That's true. Yeah.
Might have a slash beforehand.
Yeah. Why not? So there we have it, folks. That's the worst film of 2016, Ghostbusters. So if you were unfortunate to watch it, then
Yep. And to the cast and crew of Ghostbusters, we'll be sending out soggy biscuits. To you all.
Yeah. And for the food recommendation, I mean, we did actually give food recommendations for this one at the time.
Yeah. So listen to the episode.
Tins of hot dogs
to be
involved.
fair, the views of the internet community are not necessarily those shared by those of Food to Watch Films by.
No.
Yes, of course.
No. But get a couple of tins of cheap hot dogs with a I don't know what I'm trying to say.
We'll cut that out.
Settle down in the bath, put on the radio, and just have a nice soak.
Yeah. In your hot dog brine. Anyway, let's move on to our third category, gore.
If you're gonna spew into this.
And now my favourite category, the Long Pig Spit Roast Award for goriest film of 2016.
Yep.
I will say, before categories are announced, it was quite a people year for the old gore in 2016. I will say there wasn't a huge smattering of it out there, but still, we must attest to the year. We must award as such. My specific film, The Eyes of My Mother. Which is a kind of a nice art house black and white film. It's basically crazy girl, crazy stuff, crazy gore. Nice.
Yeah. Excellent.
Adam?
Yeah, well, I went for The Neon Demon, which, again, such a bizarre film. I think it's probably the most aesthetically, just the way it's shot, cinematography, it's beautiful. Kind of goes off on a bit of a tangent in places, and to be honest, in terms of gore, we don't really see much gore until probably the last sort of half an hour, 20 minutes of it. But when it comes big. I mean, we've got cannibalism, we've got women bathing in blood, we've got a woman regurgitating an eyeball, and then another woman eating said eyeball. A little bit of necrophilia thrown in there as well. But don't let that put you off. Certainly worth a watch anyway. That's the Neon Demon.
And so the final nomination comes from myself, and that was Rob Zombie's 31, which is a group get kidnapped on Halloween and find themselves pitted against a bunch of psychopathic heads, clown types, and a neo-Nazi midget, and there's quite a lot of different types of gore, people getting bashed with spiked bats. Guy being served up as the main course, and
sawing in half.
Chainsaws, cutting people up. Ugh. It was pretty heavy on the gore factor. Not really the best of films, bit of a disappointment, but anyway.
Yeah.
But still, we put it there as the most gory film of 2016 on my book.
Yeah, excellent.
So,
what did the people think?
What did you think?
Let's have a look. So, here we go. Here we go, guys. Tense.
Oh, God. I feel like I'm going to puke.
And the winner is... It's The Eyes of My Mother.
Oh.
Pablo, the king of gore, has gone with the right selection. And again, quite overwhelmingly people have voted for this.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly not the goriest film of the year in terms of visual gore, but I think probably quality of how it's delivered. I think that's probably what swung it.
Well, I think there's some the artwork and the camera work especially is very very unique to this film, and it kind of gives a very unsettling vibe to it. Now, I think that's one thing that 2016 seems to have gone down a route of more than gore for gore's sake, is that they seem to be really pushing for a kind of unsettling, nervous in your seat vibe. So in that regard, it does well. But I will say, having recently watched the Turkish film Baskin, that I think would technically fall into this category if I'd have seen it in time, pretty much is a mental film in many different ways. So if I had any time again, I may have potentially picked that. So this would have been a null point anyway, because it wouldn't have been in the contention. But nice to know an art house film wins in a category that normally has criticised for little to no art.
Yeah, I must admit, I haven't seen it. It does look very appealing from the trailer, actually. Definitely looks like the kind of thing I'd like to watch.
I think it's certainly something we could maybe do in an episode, because it's there's a lot of points to talk about in terms of the quality of the film. Yeah. Not just the gore. I mean, it's a lot very Hitchcockian.
Hitchcockian.
It's a little bit Hitchcockian in that, a lot of the times, like there's not that much visual gore, but it's almost kind of what you don't see. You've seen the body parts being packed away and put back in the fridge, but you don't see the hacking necessarily, or much of the hacking.
Yeah, it leaves it to your imagination.
It leaves it to your imagination.
Yes, which as they often say, is often sometimes the worst thing that can happen, because sometimes leaving things to your imagination can open up those little locked rooms you keep in your mind.
Yeah. So I mean, have we got any food recommendations we might throw in on that one if we were to suggest anyone to watch it? I've not actually seen it, so I don't know about a bit of brain. Brain cabbage.
I'm just trying to think of something. There's a lot of cutting up of body parts and then sort of freeze packing them. So maybe like
preserved.
Yeah. Maybe just
some sort of bathtub goulash, or
potentially, yeah. Or maybe bathtub goulash. We'll go for that. Yeah.
Cool.
Try that.
Yeah, there you go, folks. So, if you want to see something particularly gory, why not watch any of the three that we recommended, but particularly the winner, The Eyes of My Mother. Have a bit of bathtub goulash, which I'm assuming would involve sort of bits.
It involved a bathtub.
Bits and pieces. You could eat it from within the bath yourself. You can have
get amongst it. So we're talking like the innards, the gizzards.
Yeah, all the bits and pieces, and the odd eyeball, bit of eyeballs there.
Giblets.
Yeah. Maybe with a bit of brain on toast as well, just as a little. Anyway,
that's the gore section.
Going off on one. So that moves us on to our final category, the best film of 2016. Okay.
Gentlemen, your conversation makes interesting listening.
Okay, so that takes us on to our fourth and final award. We've saved the best for last, so we've gone for the best picture. We've called this award the Scent of Bacon Award. Scent of Bacon. Which is not just a Kevin Bacon fragrance line.
Kevin Bacon's not really involved in this.
He is, but that is a possibility. So Kevin, if you're listening,
There's an idea for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I want some
I've got adverts
commission
to
on
film
that.
for, you know, he'll do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a bit of a commercial whore these days. Scent of bacon, because who doesn't love the scent of bacon?
Yeah, even if you're vegetarian.
It turns vegetarians. Certain religions don't like bacon too much, but the smell of it's just the scent of it.
It's a nice smell.
It's a nice smell. Okay, so for the Scent of Bacon Award,
Yep.
nominations. I've gone for Deadpool.
Quelle surprise.
Yeah, well, no, you know what? We're
I'm only
in
kidding.
a year where there's been some great movies. I've recently watched Hell or High Water. That was fantastic. There's been some absolutely great films, and we discussed some of them already. But Deadpool, it's a romance film. It's obviously a comedy as well in there, but it's a superhero film that's very true to the source material. I think it's definitely the best comic book superhero film that I've seen all year, and one of my favourites of all time. You could see there was a labour of love in there. A lot of elements that worked fantastically, and I loved it. So that's my number one of 2016.
I just wish it didn't have Ryan Reynolds, but that's just my opinion. I'm not a fan. Sorry.
It was dedicated to it, wasn't it?
I know, he just grates on me, but anyway.
Yeah. Okay, Pablo?
Well, not to completely fly in the face of everything that Adam's just said, but my best film of the year was Captain America: Civil War.
Ooh.
Which was a doozy. As a lifelong comic book fan myself, it's essentially everything that you've ever thought of up on the screen. There's no pandering to execs. It just seems to be what you want. Mm-hmm. And 2 words: giant man.
Brilliant. And Spider-Man as well. We got to see the first bit of Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Yes, which all looks good. Set up for the future, for the homecoming.
One of my favourite parts of the film was actually Spider-Man. So
yeah, fantastic. And so the final nomination.
Are we going for like high art on this one? Something that's going to probably be at the Oscars or the Golden Globes.
So it's the 2016, obviously, film Ghostbusters. No, it's not really. It is. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Rogue One.
I already knew what the nomination was because I put these polls out there.
The suspense.
Yeah, exactly. We've gone for a very geeky overview of best films here, haven't we? 2 comic book films and a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, but Rogue One, a Star Wars movie, telling the tale that comes before A New Hope. Showing how the Rebel Alliance get those plans to be able to know how to destroy and take down the Death Star, and it's really good. Yeah, and that's all I'm going to say about
the sequel myself. That's all I'm waiting for, the sequel.
Yeah, what is going to happen next? Who knows? Will they destroy that Death Star?
I'll hold
Who
out
is that
New
Darth
Hope
Vader?
that it's very good.
Yes. But yeah, and we will be talking about Rogue One in a minisode that'll be coming out shortly. So stay tuned for that. Anyway,
check it out.
So, should we get to the results?
Okay. And the winner is... It's only my choice. It's Deadpool. Woo, yeah. Validation from the people on social media.
I don't believe that.
And not only that took it by about 50%.
You know what it is? Me and Pablo have not seen these polls. I'm wondering.
Just trust
Show
in
me
the
the
polls.
evidence.
Just trust in the polls.
I think the only poll you've been working is in your shorts.
Oh well, that's disappointing.
Yeah, but again, I mean, people did really respond to that film. And I think there's some great films that we maybe haven't on there. There'll be people screaming at it, and I'll be very surprised if any of these really have much of a presence in the Oscars. La La Land, that's tipped to take a lot of Oscar attention. There's some great films that we probably haven't mentioned there. But what a position to be in when we're talking about the best films of 2016, and we've got that selection of geekery.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nerdy lineup.
It is, but it's just great that there's that sort of choice.
I mean, we haven't even done any international.
Well, remember the 90s when we had geek choices of films in the 90s? We're trying to bring back superheroes like The Shadow and stuff like that. We didn't have much choice.
The Punisher.
Yeah, exactly. Look what we got now.
Yeah, I mean, it was a year rife.
With
these sorts of films.
Now, so there we go, people. Deadpool.
Deadpool. And what would you recommend you serve up with a bit of Deadpool?
Chimichangas, surely.
Chimichangas, it's got to be. There's only one choice.
Yeah.
Chimichangas.
I think I remember at the time thinking a bit of ham hock, because he's got quite a
ham hockish face,
purpley, pinky, bloated. Yeah, not particularly appealing to look at.
You won't want to eat it.
No,
you want to lick it.
But
maybe some bullet riddled spam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the preparation work for that would be a little bit labourish, but yeah, bullet riddled spam. Yeah. So there we go. That takes the best picture.
Best picture, folks. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. And have some ham or bullet riddled spam.
Yeah, and to Ryan Reynolds and all the people involved in the making of Deadpool, we'll be sending the scent of bacon.
Yeah, your way, wafting it.
Yeah. Tupperware box.
Yeah, indeed. And so that's all the categories done
and dusted.
So yeah, for a year that was a lot of crazy things happening.
Yeah, worth getting dressed up for.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Worth bringing out the crushed velvet suit again.
You do look like a total moron, to be honest with you.
I feel good.
And
tell me I'm pretty, John.
Pablo, I think yours is starting to ooze a little out.
It's not very good sitting down. It sticks a bit. There's not much.
It's like it's riding up a little. Oh, hang on. Is that your arse, or was that one of your victims?
I'm not entirely sure what.
I can't really tell where you start and where you're. Can't tell which is yours and which is theirs. I don't know. Anyway,
keep guessing. That's the way I like to play. Keep guessing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's been a little bit of a special feature to kick the year off. Bit of a shorter episode than what we usually do, but we're hoping to maybe keep things tight and So.
Right.
If you had any other films or recommendations, things that you enjoyed from 2016, by all means, get in touch with us. We're on Twitter, FTWFB podcast. We've got a Facebook page as well. We've got a brand new spanking website as well.
Yeah, it's looking pretty.
Yeah, it's looking pretty fun. You can find it at foodtowatchfilmsby.com.
Yeah.
We've got a contact us page on there now. So, if you want to send us any film and food recommendations, if you want to just get in touch and tell us how awesome we are. If you even feel like, you want to come on the show or anything like that, just drop us a line.
Yeah, let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, start of 2017. We'll look forward to many more episodes.
Yes. And many more foods.
Brilliant. Why wouldn't you want to listen?
At least 365 and a quarter dinners coming my way.
Indeed. Right, so we'll bid you adieu. So, au revoir, folks.
Bye.
Toodles.